Home by Miss Stephanie Mills. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I were home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Suddenly the raindrops that fall, they have a meaning, sprinkling the seed, makes it all clean. Yes, maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It sure would be nice to be back at home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend, and please let me start again. Yes, suddenly my world is gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. See, I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it growing. And oh, if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we try and stay, or should we run away? Or would it be better just to let things, let them be? Oh, living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love, oh yes, and it's real, it's so real, it's real to me, and I've learned that we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love, like yours and like mine, like home when I think of home. Like home when I think of home. Like home. That was Home by Stephanie Mills. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Maddie's Rap, the show where our focus is on the enhancement of mind, body, and spirit. I hope you enjoyed that intro. That was different. That was a different intro for me. Though, if you guys have been following me on my channel at all, or if you scroll or browse through my channel, you can see me singing here and there. There's a karaoke video, or video of me doing Patti LaBelle's "If Only You Knew," on a cruise ship on karaoke night. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. So if you guys want, you can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description box below. But I felt like that song Home is a perfect segue into, or the perfect lead-in into what we're going to be talking about today. And that is how the movie The Wizard of Oz, how it almost perfectly captures the essence of the journey of the soul. The journey of the soul. You guys have seen enough of my videos now to know that I'm a firm believer. I mean, my feet are firmly planted in the idea of reincarnation. In fact, I am going to read an excerpt of a book that I recently read by a guy by the name of Dr. Brian Weiss, who is a clinical psychiatrist / hypnotherapist that discovered years ago about past lives during a hypnotherapy session, or across several hypnotherapy sessions. So I'll be reading an excerpt of that book today, and then we're going to talk about the Wizard of Oz. And again, you guys, just stick around. Some people don't. I talk to a lot of people that, some people are warm to the notion of reincarnation. Some people are fully engaged in it. They believe in it just like I do. They don't believe that the soul ever dies. They don't believe. If you understand or you don't believe that the soul ever dies, then there's no way you can ever believe that we only live once. Okay, that is a fallacy that was presented by the church establishment, the worldwide church establishment, over 1,000 years ago. So I won't spend too much time on that. And, but if you don't believe in reincarnation, I want you to just stick around and watch this video anyway, because, again, there are a lot of pearls in the movie The Wizard of Oz. And the inspiration came to me to do this video a couple days ago. And so last night I rented the movie The Wizard of Oz, the original 1939 edition, and you can rent that on Amazon or Apple TV Plus for like $3.99, $4, something like that. And I watched that movie and it just jumped off the screen at me, and I'm like, how did I miss this before? But when your mind's not open yet, or your eyes haven't been opened yet, it's not about the mind, I should say. When your eyes, your spiritual eye, your third eye, the sixth, the chakra, when that hasn't been opened yet, some of these things go right by our faces, like we just never even see it. We never even see it. So let me first introduce myself. I'm going right in here, and I realize that some of you watching this may be watching me for the first time. My name is Matt D. Talford. I'm an award-winning author of a couple of books that I'll talk about at the end of this video, because I want to get right into it. And we're going to do that right after this break. Hello and welcome back to Maddie's Rap with author Matt D. Talford. And you guys are looking at me, there's a little bit of a minor wardrobe change there. The people that control the AC in this building, I'm in an office suite that doesn't have its own thermostat, and it's like a daily struggle to figure out if it's going to be too hot or too cold. Am I going to have to call somebody to tell them to adjust the temperature? But I was in the Army, so I'm ready for anything, right? Anyway, first off, let me say welcome back to my returning subscribers. Thank you. You guys just keep this channel going with your enthusiasm, your views, your comments, the encouragement. Hitting me up on my Instagram at Matt D. Talford. And I love you guys so much. Just thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for believing in me, and just thank you for engaging and being a part of the energy. This is the earth. There's some new energy in the earth right now, and you can see it, you can feel it. And I just thank you guys just for helping to support this channel with your views and your shares and your comments and your likes. So thank you so much. Again, if you're new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you will see why the channel continues to grow, and you'll be a part of that growth, and you'll click that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, be sure you slide that notification bell up to all, and then you'll get notified when I upload a new video. So let me touch on the intro before we get into today's subject matter real quick, because I wanted to mention something. That song Home, like I said, it hits home pun intended. I did intend that pun. Home hits home for me. It just and that I want to dedicate that song "Home" to all of the people that consider themselves, light workers and starseeds, and the people that are trying to spread love and spread light in the earth right now. You can really feel like, and a lot of us, I say us, I'm included in that. I try to spread love and light wherever I can. A lot of us just, from the time we were children, just felt like we didn't fit in, like we didn't belong, like this just wasn't where we were supposed to be. And some of those themes were captured in The Wizard of Oz, and we're going to talk about that too. Because Dorothy, I won't play spoiler. Speaking of spoiler, if you have not seen the original 1939 movie, The Wizard of Oz, again, you can rent it on Amazon Prime or Video or Apple TV Plus or whatever, apparatus or, streaming service or whatever you use. You can rent that for about $4. I strongly encourage you to watch the movie because I'm going to be giving out some points from that movie. And if you've never seen it, then I'm going to play spoiler for you. Now, if you don't care about me playing spoiler on a movie that's almost 100 years old, then by all means, just continue to watch here. But again, if you don't want me to play spoiler, you may want to pause the video here, put it in your watch later list or whatever, queue, and then go and rent The Wizard of Oz. Unless you have, somebody that has a DVD or VHS, for those of y'all that still have a VHS player. I still have one. I don't know if it works anymore. I haven't used it in a while. But anyway, let me get on. So I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. If you have not seen The Wizard of Oz, this is a spoiler alert. Okay, so you're gonna know what happens in the movie a little bit. Now, that being said, the song "Home" and to all of those light workers out there, like I said, I wanted to dedicate that song to you guys because the words carry so much meaning. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard that song for the first time as a teenager, and I got choked up the first time I heard it. I mean, Stephanie Mills just delivers this powerful vocal. The first time I ever heard that song, she was singing it on the Apollo, at Apollo Theater. I was watching the Apollo Theater Showtime, their broadcast they used to do years ago. And that song it just hit me right there, and it still does. I mean, especially, the more you go through life and the more experiences you have, when you listen to those words, just depending on who you are and what those lyrics do for you, it can get you choked up. So that's still one of my favorite all-time songs. Now, you might wonder why I sang that. That song is not in The Wizard of Oz, all right? It's in The Wiz. A lot of that music, Michael Jackson was involved in that original presentation. I do believe Stephanie Mills was in the original one as well. So that was y'all know I don't like the term black, to be honest with you, but black theater. All right, I said it. Y'all know I don't like that term because that term's a catch-all. It's not real. There's no black. All right, y'all. I'm not gonna go there. Okay. Black theater. Okay. All right. So that's The Wiz. You can also see The Wiz. You can see The Wizard of Oz. You can also watch The Wiz. The Wiz is a great movie too. It was a great stage presentation. Go watch The Wiz if you haven't seen it. I saw that for the first time as an adult, and we even did some of the numbers. And I used to be part of a community chorus in Charlotte called Carolina Voices. For those of you who are familiar with them, they do 2 shows every year. At the time, they were doing their main stage choir. They've got a couple of different moving parts, but I was a part of the main stage choir, and we did a lot of those numbers. And I may, if I can find the old video, I may throw a clip of myself, because I played the Tin Man for in one of those Broadway shows. I was the Tin Man, so it's pretty cool. If I can find that clip, I'll put it up there for you guys. But all right, so let me get on to what are we talking about today. I just wanted to throw that again out there, tribute. And if you guys want it, if you've never heard Stephanie Mills' rendition of it, I will place a link in the description box below so that you can click on it and hear Stephanie Mills, blow it out the park. She's just amazing vocalist. So today, what we're going to do, I mentioned this in the preview. I'm going to read a book excerpt from Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss, which talks about how reincarnation was a widely known, widely accepted fact prior to the Romans instituting the worldwide church establishment, Roman Catholicism. All right. So there's that, and then we're going to go on in part 2. We're going to take an in-depth look at the movie The Wizard of Oz and talk about the parallels between that movie and the soul, or the journey of the soul. Okay, we're going to take a look at the characters. Who are those main characters from the movie, and how these, we'll talk about the parallels between these characters and the journey of souls, and the great illustration there. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about soul clusters, and then we'll talk a little bit about the purpose of incarnation, and we're going to tie that to the movie. So all of this is under the umbrella of the Wizard of Oz. So those are some of the things we're going to be talking about. The purpose of incarnation, of soul growth, divine mission, blase blah. Okay, we're going to look at what Dorothy, what was Dorothy's mission. We'll talk about that, and then we're at part 3. We're going to talk about the powerful symbolism in the movie, because I'm going to share with you guys what my favorite scene was from the movie, and illustrate the power of word, and how that movie illustrates the power of word. Okay, if you guys haven't seen my last video, I was talking about the word in that. Like, the title of the video was is it time for, is this the end of religion? Yeah, but don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I'll put a link to that in the description box below. But that video, I'm talking about the power of the word. So that shows up in this movie as well. It blew me away to rewatch this. I'm telling you. So I'm going to talk about the symbolism, the power of the word, okay, and how that showed up in my favorite scene. We're going to talk about the red shoes, the yellow brick road, the emerald green city. We're even going to talk about the water that the wicked witch had dumped on her, and what the clue was in there. There was some nuggets in there, I'm telling you guys. All right, and then in part 4, we're just going to do some final takeaways, and we're going to we're going to read a passage of scripture. You guys know the majority of Maddie's Rap is scripture edition. I'm going to show you how there's a powerful passage of scripture that wraps all of this up. So that'll be the wrapping paper on the end of this, and then we'll close out the video. So let's take another quick break, and we'll jump right in with the book excerpt. We're back, and we are going to jump right in without further ado on this book excerpt. Okay, this again is from chapter 3 of the book Many Lives and Many Masters by Brian Weiss. Let me show you guys what that cover looks like, and then I don't know if you can see, if this will show up on the camera here, but that is the cover. All right, Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. Okay, all right, so you guys will know what that cover looks like. Now, let's go right to chapter 3 and jump right in here. All right. So, I'll start here. I'm just going to jump in the middle. This is an excerpt, so you guys can get the book for yourself or get the audiobook or whatever you prefer. During the week, I had reviewed my textbook. So, in this, pretty much, let me set it up. Dr. Weiss has a patient that has some issues that he feels like stemmed from her childhood. And he took her through a hypnotherapy session, and found like, they got, spoiler alert here. Well, you know what? I won't tell you what that part is. I'll just tell you that he found the source of what her issue was, and he felt like she was going to need some more sessions. He decided hypnosis was going to be the best thing to do to try to take her back to her childhood and figure out the root of what her issue was. Once they identified the root, he said, okay, we're going to have to work through this a little bit more. We're going to need a few more sessions just to make sure we got everything 100% complete, cleared, and your confidence is back, and the things that were bothering you, or you got them under control. So, in taking her and hypnotizing her again, he found out that she started recalling events that did not line up with the life that she was living. So, and that is where we start here with chapter 3. So this is where I'm going to jump in this excerpt. During the week, I had reviewed my textbook from a comparative religions course taken during my freshman year at Columbia. There were indeed references to reincarnation in the Old and the New Testaments. In AD 325, the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, along with his mother, Helena, had deleted references to reincarnation contained in the New Testament. The Second Council of Constantinople, meeting in AD 553, confirmed this action and declared the concept of reincarnation a heresy. Apparently, they thought this concept would weaken the growing power of the church by giving humans too much time to seek their salvation. Yet, the original references had been there. The early church fathers had accepted the concept of reincarnation. The early Gnostics, Clement of Alexandria, Origen, Saint Jerome, and many others believed that they had lived before and would again. All right, and that's that excerpt I wanted to read for you guys. So I use that as a basis to just again to illustrate that the church establishment has pretty much, made us all feel like you live one time for one blip of eternity. You incarnate, you live, and then based on the deeds that you performed in this body, or as I like to call it, a vehicle, you either spend the rest of your eternity in heaven or hell. That's what the church establishment has taught or led so many of us to believe. But that there are too many occurrences that happen that make people wonder about that and like, really, something's not right about that. So anyway, I just wanted to get that part out. Now, with that part being done, that was part one. We're going to get into part two with the movie The Wizard of Oz and talk about these parallels. All right. Now, who were the souls in The Wizard of Oz? The main ones that I'm going to be dealing with today. Of course, the main character, Dorothy, who was played by the famous Judy Garland. Okay. I won't get into the real names of the rest of the characters. I just wanted to throw that out there. She was a well-known actress throughout her career, whatever, and vocalist and performer, that kind of thing. Anyway, so we got Dorothy, and then we got Miss Gulch. Okay, Miss Gulch is the lady in the beginning of the movie that is riding on the bicycle. Remember, I told you, spoiler alert. She's a lady that's riding on a bicycle that wants to get Dorothy's dog Toto put to sleep. Okay. And, I won't get all into why she wants that to happen, but she got a court order from the sheriff or whatever that says, hey, I am to take this dog away from you and take him to get euthanized, basically. Okay. And so she's playing, that's Mrs. Gulch in the beginning of the movie. Okay. But then the same character is playing the Wicked Witch of the West. All right. She's playing the Wicked Witch of the West in Oz. All right. Same character. Stay with me. Now, the other character I want to look at, the Good Witch, Glinda the Good Witch, okay? Talk about what I believe she was, or what, her character was in this movie. The next characters, the three, all right? Everybody who knows the Wizard of Oz story, they know the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man, right? But those were their Oz incarnations, okay? But at the beginning of the movie, they were the farmhands. Hunk was the Scarecrow, Zeke was the Cowardly Lion, and Hickory was the Tin Man. All right. So the next character we're gonna look at, Professor Marvel. Professor Marvel was the guy who, when Dorothy ran away from home, he had this circus little trailer thing that he had outside of the farm and outside of the property where they lived. Remember, she's running away, and he brings her into the to the tent deal or trailer to try to read her fortune, all right? And that part's comedy in and of itself. But that's Professor Marvel. Professor Marvel, when she gets to Oz, is the gatekeeper. He's the carriage driver. So again, he's driving a carriage again. His circus act was a carriage. Here he is driving a carriage again. He was the guard. He was one of the guards for the city. And he actually was the wizard. Okay? So that was Professor Marvel, a.k.a. gatekeeper, guard, carriage driver, and wizard of Oz, all right? Toto, the dog. Animals are very interesting, okay? Some people say animals don't have souls. I personally don't believe that. I personally do not believe that, okay? And maybe I'll share a story with you guys on that. I don't know. It might be too personal. I don't know. I don't. And not that it's personal, but y'all know, man. I don't like to tell all my business, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, and then the last characters that we want to take a look at are Uncle Henry and Auntie M. We're going to tie all of this together, all right? So, and then the concept of soul clusters, because that kind of, deals with these characters, okay? Now, what is a soul cluster? A soul cluster is real simple. It's kind of self-explanatory. A soul cluster is a group of souls. It is a group of souls that incarnate during the same lifetime, all right? They may not all incarnate in the same year, the same month, whatever. They might incarnate at different times, but they all appear in the same lifetime at different times. So let's say you got a soul cluster of 7 souls. Well, you know what? They may be, they 2 or 3 of them may have been born the same year. And that's just an example. I mean, soul clusters could be any size or whatever, right? We don't know, but they could be any size. But who's to say that I didn't incarnate in my last life with my brothers and I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. Well, I've actually got two sisters. One of them I learned about later in life, but that's a story for another day. But anyway, who's to say that I didn't incarnate with them in another lifetime? I don't know. So anyway, so soul clusters are groups of souls that incarnate in the same lifetime. And sometimes they don't always incarnate in the same lifetime. It just depends on their purpose. And I'm going to put some links in the description box to two different YouTube channels and videos specifically that talk about some of these concepts and go into a little bit more detail for those of you that want to know about them. The purpose of this video is not to get into detail about what these different soul terms are and what the mechanics of them are. It's not a deep dive into that. We're talking about the Wizard of Oz. Okay, so let's talk about this cluster of souls that's represented in the Wizard of Oz, right? Dorothy is herself, right? Dorothy is Dorothy when she's in Kansas. Dorothy is Dorothy when she's in Oz, okay? I just talked about Miss Gulch. Miss Gulch, mean old fart, okay? Mean old fart, riding a bicycle, took the poor girl's dog. It's like, I'm getting ready to go get this dog put to sleep. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't eat nothing out of my garden again. She tried to bust the dog in the back with a rake. I'm like, come on, this is a wicked woman. Who hits a dog with a rake, right? I mean, and those rakes they had back in this movie is from 1939. All right, those rakes that they had back then were heavy. Toto's like the size of this laptop screen. I'm like, come on, really? You gonna bust a dog with a rake, lady? Come on, right? But guess what? In Oz, she's that same wicked, crooked letter energy, okay? She's that same wicked energy, okay? Now, but remember, she's part of Dorothy's soul cluster. So there's a purpose there. We're gonna talk about that. We got the Good Witch. Now, the Good Witch she doesn't appear in Kansas, but she's there waiting on Dorothy when Dorothy arrives, okay? Now, does she know she's waiting for Dorothy? No. But she's part of Dorothy's soul cluster, and she's part of her team. I'm going to come back to her. Hunk, Zeke, and Hickory, they're the farmhands, all right? Hunk, Zeke, and Hickory, they are the farmhands. Guess what? She meets them in different stages when she gets to Oz. She meets the Scarecrow first. She's like, something about you looks and feels familiar. He's like, I don't know. Dorothy's special. See, when you're special, your soul remembers other souls. Your soul remembers. And that's not to belittle anybody who that's not to belittle the Scarecrow. Let me say it figuratively so you guys can stay with me. That is not to belittle the Scarecrow. But everybody's made differently, and everybody comes with different purposes. Now, let me cut to the chase and tell y'all who I believe Dorothy was. Dorothy, to me, is a light worker. She's a light worker, and I'm going to get on into that in just a minute, okay? Dorothy remembers, something about you is familiar. Next, she meets the Cowardly Lion, okay? Zeke. And then she meets Hickory. Now, there's something strangely familiar about these guys, not just their energy, but the fact that the same issues that they had in Oz were the same issues they had back in Kansas. The same souls, okay? What is the purpose of incarnation? What is the purpose? You guys hear me talk about this in a lot of videos. Soul growth. We come here for our souls to grow muscle. We come here to ascend. You can't ascend until your soul has learned a certain lesson that is going to carry you into whatever your next level is in existence, in eternity. You can't go to the 12th grade until you pass the 11th grade. If you do not pass the requirements for the 11th grade, you cannot graduate and go to the 12th grade. The soul works the same way. I talk about this in my video, the one where I'm talking about what are spirit guides and spirit guides. It's the video I did on spirit guides. Pay attention to that video because we kind of got some similar themes here. And guys, for those of you, just let me pause for a moment and let you know, I don't know how it works out this way. I never plan it. But my videos always stack one on top of the other. They always stack one on top of the other. When I drop a theme in a earlier video, you can backtrace all my videos and see how they connect. Somehow the subject matter is always connected. So don't pay attention to the dates on my videos. Just watch it and then start, going through them and like, wait a minute, he talked about this and this one or whatever. There's always something, a chain. There's a link that links it to the next. It's like a chain.
It links it to the next link, links to the next link. That's how these videos work, coming from me. Again, I don't plan that. It just happens that way for some reason. So anyway, they're dealing with these same issues. And then you got Professor Marvel. What is Professor Marvel? He's like a, guy who, again, he does the psychic stuff or whatever at the carnival, but he's really a con artist. So he's not, his gifts aren't true. They're not real. He's a con artist in Kansas. We find out later in the movie that he's also a con artist in Oz, all right? But he's a part of her soul cluster, and he helps her, okay? He helped her. Y'all, I'm getting ready to jump out this chair, y'all. I'm telling you, the Wizard of Oz is church. It's church. And I don't mean church from the church establishment. I mean, there's a sermon in it. You can learn something from the Wizard of Oz. Y'all pay attention. Stay with me, okay? There's a lesson in it. This is school. I hope you're taking notes. Watch the movie, all right? So Professor Marvel, he's a guy that's into, again, anybody's ever been to a carnival or a World's Fair, whatever, you got a palm reader in there. You got somebody that's a fortune teller. He's one of these people too. But now I want you guys to know, fortune telling, palm reading, that stuff, I don't knock anybody who does that. I used to when I was into churchianity, but I understand that different people have different spiritual gifts, and a lot of these things were demonized by the church establishment. But when you do your history and you start to look at what these things are, and I'm not telling anybody to go out here and do anything that feels dark to them, but what I'm telling you is there are people that have certain spiritual gifts, and then there are other people that are con artists. And I need to turn off my Wi-Fi because I do not want to get an interruption. Okay, my Wi-Fi is off. There are people who are con artists, Some of y'all that's in church now. Y'all know my story, my church background, lived in church basically, okay? You got people who are false prophets in church and false prophetesses. They come up to you and say, hey, God told me to tell you blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't resonate with you. My mother used to always say, when God is speaking to you through somebody else, he's already giving you inspiration, or he's already placed something on your heart about you that he wants you to work on, and then somebody else comes along as a witness to say, hey, see, I told you. I'm trying to tell you, work on this about your life, or work on or this particular thing, or this thing that you was praying for, this thing that you were worrying about. I spoke it to you, but since you didn't get it, I'm gonna send somebody else by. All right? So that's your witness. Okay, we know this. But there are also people that come by, hey, Brother Matthew, God told me to tell you blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? He ain't telling me that. Keep it moving. Or as me and my boys used to do in the Army back in the day. So, but anyway, I spent too much time on Professor Marvel. He's a con artist. He's a con artist in one realm. He's a con artist in another realm. He's a con artist in one life. He's a con artist in another life, all right? Soul clusters. You are who you are. You are who you are. You are who you are. When y'all run into these people who are kind, their spirit is just so warm, you love being around them, they were the same person, or they were the same soul. They are the same soul. So wherever they were, their last incarnation or their last realm, they were known for the same thing. And we're going to talk about death at the end of this video too. Let's move on. Toto. Toto is Dorothy's ride or die in Kansas. He's Dorothy's ride or die in Oz. All right? We want to talk about how Toto, okay, escaped the clutches of death in one. And then guess what he did? Dorothy helped Toto. She did because she helped Toto. She showed Toto love. Guess what? Toto came back and helped her in Oz. But Toto was sent into her. Toto was Dorothy's only thing that she felt like she had to hold on to in the world of Kansas because nobody would listen to her. Toto, all right? Y'all watch these animals. I'm telling y'all, pay attention. Those of you who have dogs, cats, whatever pets you have or whatever, I ain't talking about a fish. I ain't talking about a fish. Like, I don't know, but I'm not judging. If your fish talks to you, whatever he inspires you, so be it. I'm not judging. I've just never had that experience with a fish. But I'm telling you, there's something about the last two dogs I've had, like my current dog and the dog before that. Something very spiritual about those dogs. Something very spiritual about them. It's something very familiar. I'm so tempted to tell y'all the story, but I'm not going to do it. But these animals are special, okay? That was Toto. And last but not least, Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. They were part of her soul cluster as well. That's her uncle and her aunt, okay? Now, did they appear in this other lifetime of Oz? No, they didn't. So that goes to show you that I say this all the time. We are not here for time. We're here for purpose. We're here for purpose, not time. When you fulfill your purpose, you fulfill your mission, you move on. You move on, okay? Got a video talking about the real purpose for the death and resurrection of the Messiah, all right? It's not what you think. It's not just what they told us it was in church. They told us that part. They hid the other part from us, all right? I'm going to play spoiler now. You guys go back and watch the video, but I'm going to play spoiler right now. The whole purpose for his resurrection after being a sacrifice, because you don't bring sacrifices back to life, all right? You don't bring sin sacrifices back to life. His whole purpose for coming back to life was to illustrate to you that you live again, and that fear of death is the only way anyone will ever control you. It's the only way. If they can make you afraid of death, then they'll control you throughout your life. That's an aside. Go watch the video. Maybe I'll put a card up here, or maybe I'll put the link in the description box. I don't know. There's I think there's like a five card draw for y'all poker players. It's not five card draw. There's like a 5-card limit on these YouTube videos. So maybe I'll put a card there. Maybe it'll just be a link in the description box. I don't know. But the real reason for the death and resurrection of the Messiah, y'all check that video out, okay? Look at how that links into this one. I told you guys, man, all my videos, I don't know why they do it this way. It's divine. It's divine because I don't plan them. It just happens this way. So so we talked about the soul clusters. Let's talk about the purpose of incarnation, all right? And then we're going to move on to part 3. Purpose of incarnation. What did I said it earlier. Your purpose, the purpose for your incarnation is soul growth, all right? Soul growth, number 1. Number 2, divine mission. Not everybody's on a divine mission, and not everybody's here for soul growth. And sometimes those who are here on a divine mission are also here for soul growth as well, all right? We're going to send you on this divine mission because you're special, but we got some areas we want to strengthen you in too. If you get stronger in this lifetime, you fulfill your purpose in this lifetime, you get stronger, guess what? Now you're going to be ready to move to another realm where you ain't strong enough to exist in that realm right now. This is how these things work. I know this may sound foreign to some of y'all, and if this sounds like gibberish, you can turn it off. I don't care. I'm here. If this is food for you, eat it. If it's not food, you can toss it, give it to somebody else, whatever. Now, divine mission, purpose. All right, Dorothy. Let's talk about soul growth first. We're gonna save Dorothy for last. We're gonna soul growth. The three characters. Okay. The Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man. When you take them back to the beginning of the movie when they were in Kansas, the Scarecrow, the hunk, he felt like he just couldn't use his brain. He didn't use his brain, as my dad used to say back in the day. Boy, you use your head for something other than a hat rack. Okay, he was only using his head for a hat rack. Just didn't seem to have a brain. Okay, Zeke, he was scared in Kansas. He was scared in Kansas. He incarnates in the Oz. His soul is in Oz. He's a coward in Oz. Okay? Pay attention. Some people talk about us being multidimensional and how your soul can actually exist in other realms at the same time. We're just not aware of it. You check Foster eBay out. My guy Foster eBay. I call him my guy. I don't know him. He's over in the mother continent, but I think he lives in Nigeria or whatever. But his whole thing is multidimensional. You know. Every time he starts a video, he says, "Peace, peace, family. You're now multidimensionally tuned in." Whatever. Anyway, Foster, if you saw that, I know that was a bad impersonation. But this Zeke guy, he's kind of scary over in Kansas. He's a cowardly lion in Oz. All right. And then you got Hickory, the Tin Man, kind of heartless. You know, kind of cold-hearted, kind of heartless, whatever. As Zeke, he's a Tin Man that doesn't have a heart. But does he have a heart? See? Does he have a heart? Does Hunk actually have a brain? Does the Scarecrow actually have a brain? Or did somebody tell him he didn't have one? Is Zeke really a coward to the core? Or does he actually have courage in there? Watch this. See, this is how this thing works together. Watch this. Dorothy, being a light worker, she was a friend to those guys in Kansas, right? She was a friend to them in Kansas. When she got to Oz, what Dorothy did, we're talking about the purpose of the soul growth, through her working with them and them loving her so much because she's so kind. What each of them found out, and this is after their long journey to go see the wizard to get Dorothy comes there and she's this cowardly lion says, I don't have courage. She says, oh, the wizard, he can give it to you. The scarecrow, I don't have a brain. Oh, the wizard can give it to you. Let's go see the great and powerful Oz. Okay, and then the Tin Man, he don't have a heart. Well, hey, the wizard can get it for you. What's the lesson there? A lot of times we look outside for things that we already have in us. All right, I talked about that in another one of my videos. Can't even remember right now, but maybe I'll remember by the time I'm editing this video, and I'll put a title below this, at the bottom or whatever, so you can see it. They're looking outside for something they got already in them. Dorothy's purpose was to illustrate to them that the very thing that they thought they didn't have, they had it in them all along. But did Dorothy do that on purpose? Did she come there and say, I'm telling you, man, you are courageous. I'm telling you, man, you got a heart already. I'm telling you, man, you got a brain. No. She didn't know that they didn't have a brain. She didn't know the scarecrow didn't have a brain. She didn't know the lion didn't have a heart. She didn't know she didn't know the lion didn't have courage. She didn't know that the Tin Man didn't have a heart. But she's like, well, I'll go with you guys on your journey. Hey, I'm going that way. I'm just trying to get back home. I don't even know how I got here. I'm trying to get back home. She wasn't from this world. Be in this world, but not of this world. We're going to talk about that in that passage of scripture at the end here. She's trying to get back home. So they all go into this wizard, this great and powerful Oz, to see the same thing. Little did they know they was going to go see a con man. We ain't gonna talk about that parallel, all right? Because I ain't trying. Look, so now, through her getting into trouble, all right, getting captured by this wicked witch, the same evil. Some of y'all understand what I'm talking about when I say karmic, okay? Soul contracts, the life we chose before birth. I talk about that video all the time. I learned so much from that video in January of 2021. I learned so much from that video, okay? Karmic. Karmics come along to teach you hard lessons. Dealings with a karmic is supposed to be painful. It's supposed to be painful because it teaches you that lesson in such a way that your soul grows and you don't ever have to deal with that again, ever, in any lifetime. But when you don't deal with it, guess what? That karmic follows you to the next lifetime. So what happens is Miss Gulch is now existing in this other realm as the Wicked Witch of the West. So she's trying to kill Dorothy, right? Because when the movie opens up, Dorothy, you guys know the story. Her house got caught up in a tornado and it fell in Oz. And she comes out of the house, and the Wicked Witch of the West sister, who's the Wicked Witch of the East, the house fell on her and she dead. And she got her two legs sitting out. And she got some ruby slippers on, okay, that end up becoming Dorothy's slippers, okay? But this Miss Gulch, a.k.a. Wicked Witch of the West, she comes out. Which one of y'all killed my sister? Oh, she did it. Oh, okay. Oh, this is the girl with the dog again. She don't know, but the soul is familiar. She wants her out of there. She didn't like Dorothy in Kansas. She really don't like her in Oz, because you done took out my sister. But we're going to talk about why her sister got taken out too. Light worker, okay? Light worker. She came to shine light and drive the evil out of the land of Oz, all right? So here's this wicked Miss Gulch. She's trying to kill Dorothy. And guess what? When she finally got Dorothy captured and pinned up, Dorothy's crew was like, wait a minute, man. We can't let them do this to Dorothy. Dorothy don't bother nobody. All she did was try to help us. She ain't bothered a soul, man. That girl got more love in her pinky than anybody I've ever seen had in their whole body. We got to help her. So guess what? That cowardly lion found out he had courage, because courage was required for him to go up against impossible odds to try to rescue his friend, all right? The scarecrow, he found out he had a brain. He told him, hey, y'all, this is how we gonna do it. This is how we gonna do it. And the Tin Man, he found out he had a heart. He's like, man, I got a heart. He's the one that encouraged them, y'all, we gotta help her. You can't do that unless you got a heart. You gotta feel something, all right? So what they found out, well, as these pastors say, what they found out when they got down in there, what they found out is that the thing that they were looking for outside of them was already inside of them. Go watch that video I said talking about champions, to all of the unheralded champions. Watch that video. Again, it links to this. I didn't even know that was going to happen. I did that video before. The Most High, he creates you as a champion. all right? Before you even realize you're a champion. But he puts that championship material inside of you, all right? And then he already knows you. He already knows you're a champion. He knows what you're made of because he created you. The creator created you. But guess what happens now? Now he puts you into a situation to become a champion, to prove to the world, all right, that you are a champion, because he gets the glory out of it. What's the scripture say in the book of Matthew, the 5th chapter? Let your light so shine that men might see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Are they going to look at your good works and say, oh, hallelujah, Lord, God, you created a great person? That's not how it works. When they marveling over how great you are at what you do, then he's getting the glory out of that, because he's like, yeah, I made that. Y'all ain't got to glorify me. By y'all glorifying this champion, you glorifying me, because I created him. So you're telling me that what I did was good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, for those of you who say thank you and give him the direct praise on top of that, you getting extra cookies. You getting extra cookies at the end of dinner, all right? You getting extra. But that's a story for another day. So he created them with everything they needed inside of them. They just didn't know they had it. So guess what the purpose was? The purpose was for their souls to grow. Now their souls can grow. Now their souls can grow. So their souls grew through these trials that they had to go through. Trials. Some people don't want to go through no trials or tribulation. Well, sit there then and keep going through the same thing. Keep incarnating at the same weak, low level. You got to build that muscle by going through something. Go watch that movie War Horse. We watched that one year, Christmas time, whatever. We went to the movies one year. We watched the movie War Horse. Look at how that horse got his strength. War horse. Okay, go check it out. They used to use horses in war back in World War I. Look at how he got it. They didn't know that they had that in them all along. So Dorothy, being a light worker, she came into their world to illustrate to them through her own actions, not through her knowledge, through her actions, through her own trials and tribulations. This is how God puts everything together. What's that scripture say? All things work together for the good of them who love, there's that word again, who love the Creator and who are called according to his purpose. So Dorothy was called to that purpose. So that trial that she was going through, it was for her good. It was for her good, but it was also he had a purpose in it. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're going to talk about what her overall purpose was, all right? So, soul growth. That's how they grew their souls. They grew their souls by being placed into situations that required them to wake up and realize that you got the strength and power in you already. Somebody write that down, please, because somebody out there needs to hear this. All right? You got the strength and power in you already. All right? All right? Now, Toto. Well, let's talk about Professor Marvel here real quick. We talking about soul growth. All right? Did Professor Marvel really incarnate for soul growth? No, he didn't. Was the wizard, did he go there to grow his soul? No. He was a con man. But this is why, see, my wife, she watched this video one day. It was somebody doing, or she read a book. It was an ebook or something, audiobook, something. But the premise that the narrator was talking about was he was saying, stop calling people bad because they do bad things. They were created for a purpose. Stop calling them bad. And then the writer, he gives you these examples of how this perceived bad person actually did something that worked out for somebody else's good. So here's this con man. He tricks, in the beginning of the movie, he tricks Dorothy into thinking that he can actually see her situation when in fact he stole a photo of her and her aunt and uncle. And he said, you know what, she's crying, she misses you right now. What did that do? Even though he told a lie to her, actually, was it really a lie? Probably wasn't. The only lie was that he was reading her fortune, but he really, even that in and of itself wasn't a lie because he stole the picture and perceived something from looking at it, and perhaps he felt that, you know what, this girl running away from home, somebody loved this little girl, man. This is the sweetest little girl. She ain't bad. She ain't stole nothing out of my carriage. She ain't cursed me out talking any kind of way to me. Somebody missed this girl, man. Let me tell this girl. Let me tell her I'm reading her fortune and tell her people miss her. Because in fact, I believe they do miss her. So his actions caused Dorothy to go back home, which in turn caused her to get locked out of the tornado shelter, which made her, whatever happened, she hit her head or whatever, and she ends up in another realm somewhere, which they think she's dreaming. But when you're dreaming, you're actually alive in another place. you're actually making those decisions. I'm the same person in my dreams that I am in real life. I have opportunities in dreams to do some stuff I wouldn't do. I know I wouldn't do in this lifetime, but guess what? I do the same thing in my dream. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. That ain't right. And then I wake up like, damn, sorry, mommy. I wake up like, man, I was dreaming. Why didn't I do that? But it's because I'm the same soul. I'm the same soul. So now, when he's over in Oz, he's still a con man. But guess what? He leads her to her destiny. So in each incarnation, this so-called con man leads, his whole purpose is to lead her to her destiny. Even at the end, he's like, hey, well, I'm sorry I tried to help you, whatever. He's leaving now there. I was like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the Wizard of Oz. Where you going? Yo, I'm out of here. Look, my hand been exposed, all right? All of this stuff is machinations, all right? I'm making this stuff happen with, levers and buttons and switches. I ain't real. I ain't got no real power. My power is this machine right here and tricking your mind. My mind is that my power is that I can actually trick your mind. Somebody pay attention to that, because that's going on in the world too. Pay attention. The powers that used to be, they did it the same way this Professor Marvel did, aka the Wizard, okay? All right, so, but he's part of her soul cluster because he helped her in both of those realms, both of those lifetimes, all right? Toto's a ride or die. Toto escaped out of the clutches of the witch. He escaped again in the in the land of Oz. And Toto's the one that went back and got the three who was her friends in Kansas, got them to come back and help her. They didn't know where she was. I'm sorry, they knew where she was. They didn't know how they were gonna get her out of there. Toto came back, said, hey, this is where she is. Let me show you how to get to where she is so y'all can help her. Toto's whole purpose was to help Dorothy. He was there for Dorothy every time he showed up. He was there for her. All right? Uncle Henry and Auntie M, they just incarnated to ignore Dorothy and drive her toward her soul's purpose. When you're a light worker, sometimes you don't even know you're a light worker. But the Most High is using you as a vessel. You don't even know it sometimes. A lot of times you don't. Sometimes you have a spiritual awakening later and you start looking back and you're like, hey man, I did this. Hey man, and I didn't do this, I didn't do that, Man, they wouldn't let me play with them when I was little. Nobody picked me, man. Or they say to me, hey man, we going out to this place right here, but we don't want you to go because, we don't want you to get dirty, so to speak. You're like, maybe I am special. Maybe I was created for a special purpose. All right. So let's talk about, that was for the soul growth. The other part is divine mission, divine purpose. I know this part's getting a little lengthy, but y'all stay with me. Dorothy was a light worker. What was Dorothy's divine mission? All right. Her divine mission was to destroy evil. All right. Her divine mission was a vessel of righteousness to destroy evil. Why do I say vessel? The vessel has no knowledge of what's going to be poured into it, or what it's going to pour out of itself into after that. The vessel just knows it's a vessel. Okay. So Dorothy was a vessel of divine righteousness. All right. She was a vessel of righteousness. She was used to destroy the evil. It started, look, she took out one half of the evil when the house landed on the Wicked Witch of the East. Okay? Professor Marvel played into that. The Wicked Witch of the West, Miss Gulch, she drove Dorothy into her divine purpose. She was a karmic. She drove Dorothy into her divine purpose, which was to come back and destroy her. All right? Evil was driven out of the land of Oz by Dorothy just showing up. And she didn't even know why she showed up there. But in her showing up, not only did she help somebody else manage their soul growth, but she drove evil out of a realm that the Most High wanted the evil gone from. How do we know he wanted the evil gone from there? Because when the Wicked Witch died, when Dorothy threw that water runner, we're going to talk about that water in a second. When Dorothy threw the water runner and she died, the very army that she had under her command, they like, man, she gone. Look, hey, Dorothy, what can we do for you? They didn't even want to be under that evil. This is why I tell y'all to stop saying, man, the world is an evil place, a wicked place. No, there's a minority of people controlling the world, and the people that they're using to control you are actually afraid of them, and they don't want to be in control, but they're afraid of them. But they thought this witch had more power than she did. Watch this. I'm going to jump ahead. Let's go back to Miss Gulch. Let's go back to Glinda the Good Witch, all right? Now, who do we think Glinda the Good Witch was? She wasn't in Kansas. I believe Glinda the Good Witch was an ascended master. What's called an ascended master. I believe she was a spirit guide for Dorothy. Because Dorothy destroyed the evil, she thought that Dorothy was a good witch. But she asked her, she said, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Because you just came here and killed somebody. Like you just deaded somebody. She's like, well, I didn't know I was doing it. I was just in the house. It just happened to land where it did. And what we found out, again, I just told you that wicked witch didn't have as much power as she portrayed. What did she do? I'm going to skip ahead and tell y'all, this is supposed to be for part 3, but I'm going to tell y'all my favorite scene, or this is supposed to be part 4. I'm going to tell y'all my favorite scene from this movie, all right? My favorite scene from this movie was right in the beginning, near the beginning there, where this doggone, what do you call it? Let me pull my notes here. I took some notes on that one. This doggone witch, she tries to punk, okay, my Wizard of Oz scene, okay? The Wicked Witch, okay, let me set it up for you. The Wicked Witch is demanding Dorothy. I told y'all how Dorothy got the slippers. Glinda the Good Witch said, hey, go put them ruby slippers on, all right? Those ruby slippers gonna protect you. Put them on. Wicked Witch shows up. Which one of y'all killed my sister? All right. Well, I didn't know I was gonna do that, Dorothy. I'm in the house. I'm Dorothy. I'm in the house. I didn't know that. She's like, okay, you got to pay. Wait a minute. Where those slippers at? Oh, you took them slippers off my sister's feet? Dorothy's like, well, I didn't. So Glinda, Glinda basically tells Dorothy she can't even take them off if she wanted to, because when the Wicked Witch is asking about them, she's like, give me those. What did Glinda tell her? She said it's too late. They're on her feet, and there they'll stay. Talking about the witch, the Wicked Witch not having as much power as she portrayed. The Good Witch told her, look, they're on her feet, and that's where they're going to stay at. All right? So the Wicked Witch demands that Dorothy take them off, which, again, she couldn't even do it if she wanted to. All right? Glinda then tells Dorothy, keep tight in these shoes, honey. Their magic must be powerful, otherwise this witch wouldn't even want them so badly. So the Wicked Witch, she bases up at Glinda and says, look, you better stay out of this before I deal with you too. So Glinda laughs at her, and she says, rubbish. She said, you have no power here. And then she tells her, she said, look, you better get on up out of here before another house fall out of the sky and land on you. So she bases, so then she takes some of that bass out of her voice, and she's like, all right, I'm out. I'll be back, though. So that's my favorite scene out of the movie. But again, she didn't have the power that she pretended to have. All right? She didn't have the power she pretended to have. So let's get on. Dorothy's divine purpose was to drive out evil, okay? All right? She didn't do it by intent, but she was just a vessel. She did God's work without even realizing it. That's how you know you're a chosen one. The chosen ones are sent to do to carry out the will of the Most High in a realm, and half the time they don't even realize that they're doing it. They don't realize what they were chosen for until they're well underway. Dorothy, she never figured out what she was chosen for. All right? She's just this pure light, pure divine light. All right? Now, so that was her mission. Who was Dorothy's allies on her mission? See, talking about soul groups and talking about when you're a light worker, when you're chosen, the Most High always gives you allies. Her ally was with her all. Her first ally was with her all along. The dog Toto. Toto was her ally. That was her ride or die. And then Glinda the Good Witch. He had the spirit of righteousness in the embodiment of Glinda the Good Witch, waiting for her when she got there. So now, let me skip ahead and talk about the power of those slippers. Now those slippers never belonged. Those slippers obviously never belonged to that witch, right? They never belonged to her. That was stolen power. These themes are in here. Y'all pay attention to them. That I wasn't supposed to go down this path, but I'm gonna go down here anyway. Now, when I say I wasn't supposed to, obviously I'm supposed to because I'm talking about it, but I didn't write this in my notes. Those ruby red slippers represented stolen power. Now, okay? All right? And this is going to be a segue to part 3. We talking about the symbolism in that. So maybe I'll leave this the scissors there. I mean the slippers there. I'll leave that. I won't talk about that. Glinda the Good Witch was one of her allies. Toto was the other one. All right? So Dorothy's purpose for incarnating in the land of Oz was to help her friends who've been her friends all along with their soul growth. Their souls could only grow by them seeing their own power and then operating in it. So somebody watching this, you need to see your own power and then operate in it. How do you get to identify your power? What are your gifts? I got a video that I did like 4 years ago, titled The Importance of Identifying and Operating in Your Gifts. I'll put a link in the description box. And little did I know when I recorded that video that I would be calling upon it 4 years later. This is how this stuff works, y'all. Pay attention. This is how this stuff works. Okay? So there's 2 videos there. That one and the one to the Unheralded Champions. Y'all watch these videos. This is reference material. Okay? Let's now move on to part 3 and talk about the powerful symbolism in this movie. First, the power of word. What did Glinda tell the Wicked Witch? She said, you have no power here. The power of the word, all right? Look at my other video I talked about. Don't throw the word out when you know, those of y'all that are starting to see the flaws in organized religion. Don't throw away the parts. Don't throw away the music, the song, the lyrics, and don't throw away the word. That word is life. So what did she do? Somebody with more authority spoke to that Wicked Witch and said, you ain't got no authority here. Rubbish. Oh, you gonna deal with me? Pah! Rubbish. You have no power here. She said, now why don't you get on up out of here for another house fall on you? So understood, the good witch understood that this Wicked Witch's time is coming. 50% of the power was broken when the house landed on, I'm sure they had a grip on Oz. But somebody's praying through the realms. Y'all gotta understand that prayers carry through timelines because time does not exist. I say this all the time. There's no such thing as time, only purpose. Somebody watching this video right now, you got some allies that have shown up in your life that are the products of prayer that somebody who ain't even here no more prayed for you. Or somebody who was never here prayed for you. What I always say, prayer is activation. It's not a request. It's an activation on something that you've already been provisioned for. Something that they've already been provisioned for. So some of y'all have positive stuff happening in your life that is the fruition, the coming to fruition of somebody else's prayer for you. So when you were going through something, they activated something that was to appear in your life in divine timing. Now there's a difference between the man-made construct of time and divine timing. There's a difference, understand that, all right? All right, so this witch, the good witch, knew that this other witch's days were numbered, okay? She knew her days were numbered, but she wasn't the creator, so she didn't know when and how she was gonna get taken out. But there was something special about Dorothy when she showed up, all right? Now, let's move on to the red shoes. First of all, red. You guys hear me talk about the chakras, the 7 major chakras all the time. The red is what? That's chakra number 1, the root chakra. What is the root chakra? That's your feelings of safety and security. So those red shoes symbolize, once they went on Dorothy's feet, they symbolize, okay, she's safe now. Dorothy is safe. Can't nobody touch her, all right? You might be able to delay her slightly, but you cannot harm her life. What happened to her when she got in that poppy field? Glinda said, nah, we ain't gonna do that. Let me break this little spell you don't put on her, okay? She ain't, nope, you ain't gonna do, this is what we not finna do, all right? She broke the spell of the witch. The witch thought she had Dorothy, but Dorothy still had them shoes on. That witch could not get those shoes off. Because what? Because guess what? Those shoes were never intended for evil use. They were never intended for evil use, only for good. So those red shoes represented security. That's chakra 1, red, all right? The second one, the yellow brick road. Yellow brick road, okay? Now, I got one of my boys, he put me on some game about the Wizard of Oz years ago. He talked about yellow brick road. What is yellow bricks? Gold bars, gold billion. Follow the money. The money leads to Emerald City. I get that part too, but that doesn't apply here, all right? Yellow is the color of which chakra? The 3rd chakra. That's the solar plexus. That's the center of your gut, your self-confidence, all right? So, you follow that yellow brick road, okay? They followed that yellow brick road. Their confidence was built on the road. Your confidence is built on the road. It's not built at home. The seed for your confidence is planted at home. The seed for my confidence was planted at home. I'm a little boy. You know, we grew up poor. You know, welfare kids, whatever. I ain't ashamed to say that, all right? But one thing my dad and mom always instilled in me, they said, Matt, you special. You special. You smart. You just as smart, if not smarter than any of them kids in there. Don't you? You're gonna be bused to school with some kids that have way better they come from better economic means than you. But that classroom, my dad used to tell me, that classroom was an equal playing field. That's an equal playing field. How bad you want it, son? How bad do you want it? Get in there and get it. Prove yourself there. Prove yourself. Get the highest grades. Be the guy that comes from the roughest background that got the highest grades. I was like, all right, bet, Dad, let's do this. Let's do this. So the seed was planted there, but guess what? That yellow brick road, that was the classroom. So your confidence is built on the road. What's on the road? That's your trials. That's what you're going through. The road represents going. Okay? So you had that yellow brick road. Yellow is the third chakra. That's your solar plexus. That's where you build that's your center of self-confidence. Self-confidence. All right? Confidence is always self. Yeah, I can have confidence in you, but if you ain't got confidence in yourself, you ain't gonna get it done. Self-confidence. That's that third chakra. That's built as you go. All right? Let me move on. The Emerald City. What color was that? Emerald green. Green is what? The fourth chakra. That's your heart. That's your love. That's your emotion. Look how much love was in that city. Minus the witch trying to disrupt it. Right? I mean, we got witches disrupting, wicked witches trying to disrupt the love on the earth right now by always putting something negative in the news. You know, you put your phone, the thing that pops up in the news app is always something negative. All right? They trying to disrupt the love in the realm. All right? That's why you ignore a lot of that stuff, which is what Dorothy did, which is what her crew did. They ignored the wicked witch flying above, trying to scare everybody. They're like, nah, we came here to see the wizard. We came here to get something. We gonna get it. What they found out is that the wizard really couldn't give it to them. All the wizard did was give them a certificate saying, hey, you got this already. So he basically gave them the placebo effect. He gave them a sugar pill. He didn't give them no medicine. He gave them a sugar pill. They already had, the healing was already in them. I'll talk about that. Your healing is already inside you. The Most High created you with an immune system. All right? If your immune system's compromised, no amount of medicine in the world is going to save your life. Build your immune system. Find out what foods, what foods do you put in your body that's going to build your immune system. Find that out. How much rest do I need to build to repair my immune system? All right? How much water should I be drinking? Immune system, all right? It's already inside of you. It's already inside of you. If you ain't got it in you, can't nobody give it to you. It's already inside of you. That wizard could not give them the things that they sought because it was already in them. All he did was illustrate. What did he do? What did he do? Watch this. What did he do? He said, go and get me the witch's broom. Go bring me back the witch's broom and I'll give you what you're looking for. All right? Con man. He knew they didn't have it, but guess what? Maybe there was something inside of his soul that said, that maybe that was his being sent there by the Most High to say, you know what? I'm gonna let him con them into thinking he gonna give them what they already got in them. But the way it's gonna come out of them is by them going about getting the witch's broom. That's how Dorothy got caught. Thank you, Father. I forgot that. That's how Dorothy got caught. That's how Dorothy got captured. They went to go get that broom from the witch. But guess what? They ended up through the trials and tribulations getting that broom from the witch. How did they get it? She threw water on them. But did she throw the water on the witch? She didn't even know the water was going to kill the witch. The witch set the scarecrow on fire. So Dorothy, showing love, trying to help her scarecrow friend, dumped that bucket of water. The water hit the scarecrow, but it also hit the witch. The water destroyed the witch. What is water? Water is life. Water is life. Not only that, for those of you that understand astrology, what do those water placements do? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. They're intuitive. Those are spiritual placements. Water is spirit. Water is spirit. Water is a spiritual. Those water placements are some of the most spiritual people on the planet. Most spiritual souls. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You can't get none past some people. And I don't care if they got it in the sun, if they got it in the moon, if they got it in the rising sign. Y'all know I talk about astrology a little bit, all right? It's them water signs. Them water signs are powerful. Because not only does water perceive, but water also reflects. Water mirrors. When you look in the water, you see yourself. So guess what? A lot of times these water signs show up and show people how ugly they are. Or they show them how beautiful they are. Those two things. You ain't got no confidence in yourself. A person with a significant water placement. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. They show up and they're like, man, you're pretty awesome. You're amazing. Huh? Nobody ever told me that before. What do you mean I'm amazing? That water is truth. Think about the movie The Lion King. Simba didn't come up out of his playground until he looked in that water and saw his daddy talking to him. And then he saw himself. He's like, wait a minute. I ain't no pill bug. I'm a lion. And I'm supposed to be over there. We got some people running my kingdom that ain't me. That's my birthright. I'm going to get it. Couldn't get it till he saw that what? Water. So that's that powerful symbolism of water. Water is truth. Truth destroys a multitude of lies. Truth destroys evil. Water is truth. What do I say? Truth is God. That water. Water is life. That water, that life in that water was the death of that wickedness. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. A lot of people don't like these people because they're perceptive and they reflect you back to you. They reflect you back to you. This is why a lot of people have problems with people with those placements. Because they truth bearers. They're truth bearers. I see you. And you know what? I wish I didn't, but I can't turn it off. I see you. I see you for your good, or I see you for your evil. I see you. Water. So that was pretty much the end of part 3, the powerful symbolism. Now we're going to get into part 4, which is our final takeaways, all right? Final takeaways from the movie The Wizard of Oz and the Journey of Souls, how it represents the journey of souls. Number 1, there's no death. There's only the transition of the soul, all right? Going from one realm to another, all right? Did Dorothy die when that tornado shook that house? She wasn't in that safety of that tornado shelter. We don't know. Did she quote unquote die and then come back? Did she just hit her head and pass out? We don't know. There's no such thing as death, right? What happened to Dorothy? How did the people in the land of Oz see Dorothy leaving when she clicked their heels together 3 times? They may have seen it as death, but for Dorothy, she returned home. Dorothy never died. Dorothy's soul, for Dorothy, her soul never died. That's what the Messiah came to illustrate. There's no death. That's what the Messiah came to illustrate. That's what he came to illustrate by his resurrection. He said, are y'all getting this? It's pretty much what he did when he came back. He told them that. He said, if you destroy this temple, I'll rebuild it in 3 days. They thought he was talking about the physical temple. No. Like the structure, the building where they worshiped. Where the priest did, the high priest did their thing. This man crazy, man. You know how long it took to build this temple? He was talking about this temple right here. He said, destroy it, I'll build it again in 3 days. So he basically gave them a preview. He said, I'm going to come back in the same body to prove to you that there is no such thing as death. There's only passing from one life to the next, from one realm to the next, from one purpose to the next. But guess what? If you don't fulfill your purpose, you're going to redo it. You're going to keep doing it till you get it right. Just like repeating a grade in school. Just like that movie, Edge of Tomorrow. Y'all hear me talk about that movie all the time. If you've never seen it, go watch Edge of Tomorrow. It's another great Hollywood interpretation or representation of the journey of the soul. Soul's purpose, all right? So there's no death. Did Dorothy die? Now, here's what's funny. Watch this. The Wicked Witch / Miss Gulch. We didn't see her at the end of the movie. So, did Dorothy destroying her in the land of Oz, was that somehow tied together with that tornado? Did she die in that tornado? I know I just said there's no death, but did she transition as a result of that tornado? Because we don't see Miss Gulch anymore after Dorothy gets back. But guess what? Dorothy threw water on her and destroyed her negative, wicked energy in the land of Oz. So maybe her destruction in the land of Oz and her being the embodiment of evil in that land also removed her from their town in Kansas. Now you ain't got that wickedness no more. Now ain't nobody trying to kill Toto no more. You see what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful there. Beautiful. That's one takeaway. All right. Dorothy, another takeaway. Dorothy was believed to be a light being, a divine light being. Why? Because when she came there and these munchkins started singing to her, they called her, they said, come see the girl who fell from the stars. You know what I'm saying? They saw her as coming down from the stars. Okay? They didn't see her as being of that world. They said she came from the stars. Go read the Gospel of Thomas. See what the Messiah tells his disciples in their inner circle. It's the reason why the Gospel of Thomas was not included in the canon. They gave you Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Luke wasn't even one of the disciples. He came along after. He giving you a secondhand account of who this man was. All right. But Thomas was with him. Why did they include the gospel? Why isn't Thomas one of the? Why didn't Thomas make the cut and Luke not? Isn't Luke like repetitive of what's in Matthew and Mark and John to some degree? Isn't the accounts of Luke like parallel to like? But the Gospel of Thomas is very different. Doubting Thomas, very different. Go look it up. Go look up the Gospel of Thomas and read it, and see where the Messiah tells his disciples they came from. We're going to cover that in this passage of scripture right as I end, okay? So Dorothy was not of Oz, but was sent there to restore the light and drive out the darkness, okay? That was another takeaway, all right? Another takeaway, the witch's workers didn't really want to do the evil, but they were too afraid to challenge her. I talked about that already. These workers of iniquity were actually working for the witch, but they really weren't evil. They were just too afraid to stand up to her. So the Most High cleared out a whole lot of stuff by getting that witch out of there. My wife hears me say this all the time. God wraps up multiple outcomes in single events. He takes care of multiple outcomes in a single event. You want the evidence? Go throw a rock in some still water and see what that does. What that ripple effect does. It creates a wave that pulls one thing down into the water that needs to be there. It pushes something out of the water that didn't need to be in there. That's just one example. That rock might fall down and, I don't know, it might sink to the bottom and bury a wicked crab that's been doing God knows what at the bottom of that water, harassing other crabs. We don't know. He wraps up multiple outcomes in single events. So, by Dorothy putting the light back, she also got those other people who were under the bondage of this wicked witch that didn't even want to be under that bondage. Got them out of there, okay? Another takeaway. Her actions in Oz actually made her home planet a better place to live. Her home planet, Kansas. What she did to get the wicked witch of the West out of Oz, it actually made Kansas better because we didn't see that wicked witch no more. We see that wicked witch no more. Now, some of y'all gonna argue it was a tornado, whatever. You can take what you will of it. All right? Did Miss Gulch pass away in that tornado? Did she pass away in that tornado? Passing away is not death. That's why some people call it passing away. You pass away and go into your next life. All right? I'm going to wrap this up, family, by reading an excerpt from the book of John. All right? This is going to be John chapter 17, verses 1 through 16. Thank you for those of you who are stuck with me here this far. I'm going to read this passage of scripture, and then we're going to wrap this up because this ties it all together nicely. All right? Okay, John, the 17th chapter, beginning at verse 1. These words spake the Messiah and lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, okay, so this is him about to ascend and leave the earth. He's about to ascend now and says, hey, my work here is finished. So this is the account of that. Okay. These words spake the Messiah and lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Father, the hour is come. Glorify thy Son, that thy Son may also glorify thee. As thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. Y'all know I read from the King James Version. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, or the Messiah, whom thou hast sent. I have glorified thee on earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. He's trying to get back home. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them to me, and they have kept thy word. So basically what he's saying here in verse 6 is these disciples, they incarnated on this planet, but they weren't from here either. They belonged to the Father. He said, I'm going to give them to you. That was his team for his purpose. He showed them who they were. He helped to build their souls so they can carry on the divine purpose after he left. It was like a relay race. You run your leg, you pass that baton. All right? Verse 7. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. Now they know. They know who they are. They didn't know who they were before I met them, but they know who they are now. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. Verse 8, for I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. Verse 9, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine, they're yours. So he's activating them. Remember, I always said prayer is not a request, it's an activation. Verse 10, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine. We're one. And I am glorified in them. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee. So he's basically giving his departure speech. I'm coming back home, Father. Holy Father, keep through thine own name, those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are one. Unity consciousness. All right. Verse 12, while I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost. I fulfilled my mission. I ain't lose not one, except for the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. So the only one he lost was the one that was supposed to be lost. It was written for him to be lost. That's why he said that the scripture might be fulfilled. Verse 13, and now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Talking about light workers. He left 11 light workers. They weren't from the world. Light workers, they came from the light. Read the Gospel of Thomas. The world hated them. You wonder why people don't like you when you're little, when you've never done anything to them. You wonder why. It's because you're not from this world. Okay? We call them, we hear them called light workers. We hear them called earth angels. We hear them called star seeds. We hear them called indigo children. They're not from this world. That's why the people who do the things of the world don't like them. Their light, when you shine a light in a dark room, if somebody's been, listen, if you land in your bed at 3:30 in the morning and somebody come in there and flick on the bright overhead light, that light gonna hurt your eyes. Oh, turn it off. That is how it works with these children of the light. They come into the world, they give joy to some, others hate them. Those that they give joy to, they came here for them. They were sent here for them, for the purpose of their soul growth. Dorothy. How many Dorothys I got out there? All right. Verse 14, I'm going to read that again. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them. The world has hated them because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So he's telling you he came here from somewhere else too. Verse 15, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from evil. So he's saying, listen, they got something else to do. I'm calling myself back home. I'm not asking you to take them out of the world. I'm just asking you to keep them from evil. Keep them from evil. Now watch this. And I'm going to read verse 16 and I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. Watch this. When there's a prayer over your life to keep you from evil, some of y'all think that means to keep evil away from you. Evil ain't going to always be kept away from you because sometimes you need to grow your soul muscle. But a prayer that says to keep them from evil, what that basically says is, listen, any temptation that they would want to fall into, foil it. Foil it. He activated that. That's why some of y'all out there, there's some things you wanted to get involved in, and every time you wanted to get involved in it, it got messed up some way, shape, or form. That's because of a prayer, a word that was spoken over your life. Keep them from evil. Don't let them go into something that's going to mess them up. I ain't telling you to keep it away from them. I'm telling you to keep them away from it. Don't let them go into something that's going to mess them up because they came here for a purpose. And if they fall into evil, then they cannot fulfill the purpose for which they came here. So keep them from the evil. Okay? He said, I'm not praying that you take them out of this world. If you take them out of this world, then what does the world have left for light? They are the lights of the world. What did he say in Matthew chapter 5? You are the light of the world. A city that sitteth on a hill cannot be hidden. Men do not light a candle and put it under a bushel. Therefore, let your light so shine that men will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That's why he said, I'm not praying that you take them out of the world. Look, I got to go back. I'll finish my work. My work was to activate them. Dorothy's work was to activate them dudes. Guess what? If they could have done a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, you'd have seen that them dudes they were cooking with gas. They ain't have no more problems with not using their head. They ain't have any more problems with not being courageous. They ain't have no more problems with not showing any heart. They were fixed. I got them in the world. You sent me here to activate them, Father. They're activated, and I didn't lose one. The only one that I lost was the one that I was supposed to lose in accordance with what was written before I arrived. Soul contracts. Soul contracts. Don't let nobody tell y'all this stuff is evil. It's not. The church establishment ain't showing you the eternity that you are in already. You are an eternal being, and this is eternity. They keep telling you got to die to get to eternity. No. No. You're in eternity. And finally, verse 16, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. And there's your Wizard of Oz right there. Dorothy was not of Oz. She was not of Oz. Okay? Her home planet was Kansas. That's where she came there from. But she went to Oz to fulfill a work that retroactively fixed Kansas. Oh man, look how God works. Look how he works. This is what it means to be multidimensional. He sent her to Oz to not only fix Oz, but to fix Kansas. Killing two birds with one stone. Killing two witches with one house. Killing two witches with one bucket of water. Okay? Makes you wonder who Miss Gulch's sister was. Yo, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, another video that I didn't mean to go this long, but y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do once we start getting in this. Nobody's teaching this stuff right now. Nobody's teaching it. But you need to see. We're in the age of revelation. This is the end of. There's a reason why Revelation is the last book in the Bible. All right. When you're watching a TV series, Game of Thrones, season 8, you know, you name it. Name any series, any TV series. Name any movie series, 3-part movie series, whatever. All of the secrets, and name books, book series, okay, or any book. All of the secrets are revealed at the end. All of the secrets are always revealed at the end. We're in the end, y'all. This is why all of this information is now coming out. Understand that you're already an eternal being. You're not living once to get to eternity. You're just in one stage of eternity. This is one stop. This earth has been a rough ride. It has, for a lot of us. But he promised a new heaven and a new earth, and that transition is already happening. Some of y'all can feel it. You don't even understand it, but a lot of y'all can feel it. You're like, something is different. Something's just not right. You're feeling the transition. You're feeling his promises. God's word cannot lie. It cannot. He is truth. What did the Messiah say about the Spirit of truth? Sending the Spirit of truth into the world. Truth is undefeated throughout all eternity. So if you want to call truth God, you ain't lying. Yo, y'all listening. I'm going to wrap this up. Y'all know I'm an award-winning author. Check out the thumbnails to my books. They're on the screen now for you to look at. From Fear to Faith, a Survivor Story, multiple award-winning story, narrative, explaining to you how mindset, the proper mindset, having the right mindset can help you to overcome the absolute worst of circumstances, all right? That is your book. That's a book for you. Get it, read it. You're gonna find out how to apply that to something you might be going through in your life, all right? And then there's Stuck in an Elevator, which is fiction, but has some very powerful illustration in it for somebody. Everybody that has read that book has reached out to me. Most people, I shouldn't say everybody. Most of the people that have read that book have reached out to me and told me that they saw some aspect of themselves or somebody else they know in that short story, Stuck in an Elevator. You can get them both at my website, www.talfordarts.com. They are also, that's printed version. They're also available in paperback and, they're also available in Amazon Kindle and Apple iBooks. And From Fear to Faith, a Survivor Story is also available in audiobook narrated by yours truly. Y'all take care, be blessed, tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You show it. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you enjoyed it and you're new to my channel, please subscribe and definitely hit the thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up if it did anything for you, including the song at the beginning. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with somebody. Peace, y'all.